I stepped off the bus with my duffel bag over my shoulder and whispered, "I'm home." The Texas air felt warmer than I remembered. I closed my eyes for a second and pictured Emily's smile. "Come back safe. I'll be right here." I heard her voice in my head like she was standing beside me. 2 years overseas. 2 years of dust, gunfire, and counting the days. I survived by holding on to her letters. "I'm planning our wedding colors," she wrote once. "Blue and white. You'll look so handsome in your uniform." I smiled at the memory and pulled out my phone. No new messages, but that was fine. Maybe she was planning a surprise. I started walking down Main Street. The bakery still smelled like sugar. The barber shop still had the faded red pole. Nothing had changed, except the way people looked at me. Mrs. Jenkins stepped out of her store, saw me, and froze. "Daniel, oh, you're back." "Yeah," I said, grinning. "Just got in." "Where's Emily?" "She's still working at the bookstore." Mrs. Jenkins pressed her lips together. I haven't seen her lately." "That's okay," I said. "I'll surprise her." She didn't smile back. She just nodded and went inside. I frowned. That was strange. I kept walking. Mr. Alvarez from the hardware store waved weakly. 2 teenagers whispered as I passed. "Is that him?" "Yeah." "He wasn't supposed to." They stopped when I looked at them. "Wasn't supposed to what?" I shook it off. Small towns loved gossip. Maybe they just didn't expect me back so soon. My heart beat faster as I turned onto Oak Street. Emily's house was 3 blocks away. I imagined her running into my arms. "I missed you," she would say. "I'm not leaving again," I would promise. Before I reached her street, I saw a familiar pickup truck pull into the gas station. "Jake!" I shouted. He stepped out and stared at me like he'd seen a ghost. "Danny!" I laughed and pulled him into a hug. "You look terrible, man." He didn't hug me back right away. His arms felt stiff. "When did you get in?" 5 minutes ago. I was heading to Emily's. "Is she home?" Jake swallowed. "You didn't call first?" "I wanted it to be special." I grinned. I kept the ring in my pocket the whole flight. Figured I'd redo the proposal. Romantic this time. He looked away. "What?" I asked. "Nothing." "Jake." He rubbed the back of his neck. "Maybe we should talk." "Talk about what?" I laughed again, but it sounded forced even to me. "Did she cut her hair or something?" "Danny." My stomach tightened. "Is she sick?" "No." "Did something happen to her?" He exhaled slowly. "You didn't know?" The words hit me like a punch. "Know what?" He stared at the ground. "Jake," I said, my voice low now. "Say it." "I thought someone told you." "Told me what?" He finally looked at me, and there was something in his eyes I had only seen overseas. Pity. "Your family didn't call?" "Call about what?" My grip tightened on my duffel bag. "You're scaring me." He hesitated. "Maybe you should go home first." "Why would I go home before seeing my fiancée?" He flinched at the word. That's when the crack formed inside my chest. "What happened?" I asked again. He shook his head. "Let's just drive." "No," I stepped back. "I'm walking to Emily's. You can either tell me now, or I'll find out in 5 minutes." "Danny, please. Tell me." He ran a hand through his hair. "Things changed while you were gone. People don't just change like that." "They do." I stared at him. "Did she cheat on me?" He didn't answer. My heart started pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. "Jake, it's not that simple." "Then make it simple." He looked around like someone might be listening. "Your brother." My body went still. "What about Ryan?" "He was helping her a lot." "Yeah." I asked him to. I nodded slowly. "He said he'd look out for her." "He did." The way he said it made my skin crawl. "Stop talking in circles," I snapped. "Did Ryan do something?" Jake's jaw tightened. "I shouldn't be the one saying this." "Say it." He opened his mouth, then closed it. "I thought you knew." "If you say that again, I swear." "They're close," he blurted. "Close how?" "Danny." "Close how?" I repeated louder. He whispered, "Too close." The world felt like it tilted. I laughed, but it came out sharp. "That's stupid. Ryan would never." "People change," Jake said again. "Not him." I remembered being 10 years old, Ryan teaching me how to throw a football. "I've got you, little brother," he used to say. He stood next to me at my enlistment ceremony. "Make us proud," he told me. I trusted him with everything. "You're wrong," I said. "I hope I am." I stepped back, shaking my head. "Emily loves me." Jake's eyes softened. "I know you believe that. She wrote me every week. Letters can lie." "That's not funny." "I'm not joking." I felt heat rise in my chest. So what? They had dinner a few times? That's your big secret. It's more than dinner. How do you know? Because I live here, Danny. I see things. See what? He hesitated again. Say it. I see them together. Together where? Everywhere. Silence fell between us. My mouth went dry. Are you telling me my brother is sleeping with my fiancée? He closed his eyes. That was answer enough. No, I said instantly. You're wrong. I wish I was. You're jealous or something. You've always hated Ryan. This isn't about me. You don't know what you're talking about. Danny, I didn't want to tell you like this. Then don't. It's already happening. I took a step back, my boots scraping the pavement. You're lying. I'm not. Why didn't anyone tell me? He whispered. Because they didn't know how. The town suddenly felt smaller. Suffocating. I looked toward Oak Street again. Just 3 blocks away. If you're wrong, I said quietly, I'm never forgiving you. I understand. And if you're right, my voice broke. If I'm right, he said softly, I'm sorry. I adjusted the strap on my duffel bag and started walking. Danny, wait. I need to see her. Maybe call first. No, my jaw clenched. I want to look her in the eyes. He followed a few steps behind me. Whatever happens, I'm here. I didn't answer. All I could hear was Emily's voice in my memory. Come back safe. I'll be right here. I turned the corner onto her street, and for the first time since I left the war zone, I felt truly afraid. Jake drove me to my parents' house in silence. Why are we going here? I asked. They're all inside, he said quietly. All who? He didn't answer. My chest felt tight as I stepped out of the truck. The porch light was on. I could hear voices through the door. Laughter. A party? I asked. Jake swallowed. Just go in. I forced a smile. Maybe they planned a welcome home thing. I grabbed my duffel bag and opened the door. The room went silent. Every face turned toward me. My mother stood near the kitchen counter, holding a glass. My father stood beside her. A few relatives were scattered around the living room. And then I saw her. Emily. She stood near the fireplace. For a second, I forgot to breathe. She looked beautiful. Her hair was longer. Her dress was soft blue. The same color she once said she wanted for our wedding. Emily, I whispered. She didn't move toward me. That's when I noticed her hand. It rested gently on her stomach. Round. Full. Pregnant. My eyes dropped to her fingers. The ring. It wasn't the silver one I gave her before deployment. It was gold. Ryan style. My throat went dry. What is this? No one spoke. I looked at my mother. Mom. She stepped forward. Daniel, sweetheart. Don't, I said. I looked at Ryan. He stood beside Emily. Too close. What's going on? I asked. He rubbed his hands together. Danny. Why is she wearing your ring? Silence. I took a step forward. Answer me. Emily's voice shook. Daniel, please. Please what? I snapped. Explain. Ryan finally spoke. It just happened. I laughed once. It sounded broken. It just happened? It wasn't planned, he said. Getting married wasn't planned? I asked. Or getting her pregnant? My mother gasped. Daniel. I pointed at Emily's stomach. How far along? Emily's hand tightened over her belly. 6 months. 6 months. I counted back in my head. That was 8 months after I left. You waited that long? I asked Ryan. You couldn't even wait a year? It wasn't like that, he said. Then what was it like? I shouted. Emily's eyes filled with tears. I was lonely. I stared at her. Lonely. You stopped calling as much, she said softly. I was in a combat zone. I know, but what? I didn't know if you were coming back. The words hit harder than anything. I wrote you every week, I said. And I wrote back, she whispered. Lies, I said. Ryan stepped forward. Don't talk to her like that. I looked at him slowly. You don't get to defend her. I'm her husband. The word echoed in my head. Husband. I felt dizzy. You married her. Yes. When? 3 months ago. And nobody told me? My father finally spoke. We didn't know how. You didn't know how. I repeated. You could send me into a war zone, but you couldn't send a text? My mother started crying. We thought it would destroy you over there. This, I said, my voice shaking, is destroying me right here. Emily took a step toward me. I never meant to hurt you. I backed away. You promised me. I thought you were going to die. So you replaced me? She shook her head. It wasn't like that. Then say what it was. She looked at Ryan. That look told me everything. Ryan cleared his throat. I was helping her. She was struggling. With what? I demanded. With fear. With bills. With missing you. So you slept with her to comfort her? I asked. It started as support, he said. Then feelings grew. Feelings, I repeated, while I was dodging bullets. Jake stood near the door, silent. I looked around the room. How long has everyone known? No one answered. How long? I yelled. My father spoke quietly. 5 months. 5 months. You let me call home and talk about wedding plans, I said. You listened to me say I couldn't wait to see her. My mother sobbed. We didn't want to break your heart. You already did. Emily's voice cracked. I still care about you. I laughed again. Care? I didn't plan this. You planned a wedding, I said. You planned a baby. Tears ran down her face. I was scared. I was scared every day for 2 years, I said. But I didn't cheat. Ryan's jaw tightened. Watch your tone. My tone. I stepped closer to him. You're my brother. And I love her. The room felt like it was spinning. You love her, I repeated. Yes. And the baby? I asked. He placed a hand over Emily's. It's mine. I felt something inside me crack completely. I looked at my mother. Did you approve? She whispered. I just wanted her taken care of. By him. He was here, she said. I nodded slowly. So that's it. Emily reached for me. Daniel, please talk to me. Talk. I said. What's left to say? I never stopped caring about you. Stop saying that. It's true. If it were true, you'd be wearing my ring. She looked down at her hand. I felt like I was back overseas, surrounded, exposed, no protection. Only this time, the attack came from inside my own home. Ryan spoke softly. I didn't mean for it to happen like this. You mean you didn't mean for me to survive? That's not fair. Isn't it? I asked. Did you ever think I'd walk through that door? He stayed silent. That silence was louder than anything. I looked at Emily one last time. Did you ever love me? I asked quietly. She hesitated. That hesitation answered everything. I have to live with this now, she whispered. No, I said. You chose this. My father stepped forward. Son, don't call me that right now. My mother reached out again. Daniel, please stay. We can talk. There's nothing to talk about. Emily's voice trembled. I thought you weren't coming back. I stared at her. I fought every day to come back to you. Tears blurred my vision, but I refused to let them fall. Ryan said quietly, It just happened. I looked at him with cold clarity. No, I said. You let it happen. I turned toward the door. Danny, my mother cried. I didn't stop. As I stepped outside into the night air, I realized something. In the war, I wore armor. Here, I had none. And the people I trusted most had aimed straight at my heart. I didn't get far that night. I stood outside in the dark for 10 minutes, trying to breathe. Then I turned around and walked back in. Lock the door, I said. Everyone froze. I want to talk, I added. Just us. My mother wiped her face. My father nodded once. Ryan and Emily looked at each other. Sit down, I said. We moved into the living room. The relatives slipped out quietly. Jake gave me one last look before closing the door behind him. Now it was just family. I stayed standing. When did it start? I asked. Emily answered first. Daniel, don't say my name like that. Just answer. She swallowed. 6 months after you left. 6 months, I repeated. So you wore my ring for half a year while you were already thinking about him. I wasn't thinking about him at first, she said quickly. I was just alone. You weren't alone. You had my family. Ryan stepped in. I was checking on her for you. I didn't ask you to move into my place, I snapped. I didn't. Then how did this happen? Emily's voice shook. He came over to fix the sink. We talked. I was scared all the time. So fear makes you cheat. It wasn't cheating, Ryan said firmly. We thought you might not come back. I stared at him. So you prepared for my funeral by sleeping with my fiancée? That's not fair, he said. Neither is this. My father cleared his throat. Lower your voice. I turned to him. You don't get to control my voice right now. He met my eyes calmly. We were trying to protect everyone. By lying to me? We didn't lie, he said. We just didn't tell you. That's the same thing. Emily whispered. I couldn't keep waiting without knowing. You promised, I said. You said forever. I was 24, she said softly. I was scared of losing everything. You lost me anyway. Ryan crossed his arms. You were gone, Daniel. I was serving. And we were living, he shot back. The words cut deep. I stepped closer to him. Was I already replaced before I even boarded the plane? Silence. Answer me. He looked away. That's what I thought, I said. Emily stood up. It wasn't planned like that. So you just fell into bed. Stop it, she said. Why? Does the truth hurt? She started crying. You don't know what it was like. Tell me. I couldn't sleep. Every time the phone rang, I thought it was someone telling me you were dead. I felt the same fear every day, I said. But I didn't betray you. Ryan's voice hardened. We didn't mean to fall in love. I laughed bitterly. Love? Yes. You call that love. You call this love. I pointed at her stomach. He stepped forward. Don't point at her like that. Or what? I challenged. My father stood up between us. Enough. I looked at him. How long have you known? He didn't answer. How long? I demanded. Since it became serious, he said calmly. When was that? About 4 months ago. I felt my chest tighten again. So when I called on my birthday and you told me Emily was busy, you were sitting here watching them play house. My mother started crying harder. We thought you might die over there. And if I did? I asked. Then this would just be convenient. My father's face stayed cold. We had to think about the future. My future? I asked. We didn't want her left alone with nothing. She had me. You had a dangerous job, he replied. So you decided I was already dead. No, he said evenly. We prepared for the possibility. I felt something inside me shift. You chose him over me, I said to my father. I chose stability. Ryan nodded slightly, like that made sense. I stared at both of them. All those family dinners. All those calls. You were lying every time. We were waiting for the right moment, my mother whispered. There is no right moment for this. Emily stepped closer. I tried to tell you once. When? 3 months ago. I remember that call, I said. You cried and said you missed me. I did miss you. But you didn't tell me. I couldn't. Because you knew I'd fight for us, I said. She looked down. Ryan said quietly, It's done, Daniel. Done. I repeated. You don't get to say that. You can't change it. I looked at Emily. Do you love him? She hesitated. Say it, I demanded. Yes, she whispered. The word landed heavy. And you don't love me? Tears streamed down her face. Not the same way. That hurt more than anger ever could. I nodded slowly. So the whole family agreed to keep me in the dark. My father answered. Yes. At what point were you planning to tell me? After the baby was born. We thought it would be easier in person, he said. Easier for who? No one replied. I grabbed my duffel bag from the corner. Where are you going? My mother asked. Anywhere but here. Ryan said, You're overreacting. I turned sharply. Overreacting. It's life, he said. People move on. You moved on before I even had the chance to come back. He stayed silent. I looked at him one last time. You were my brother. I still am. No, I said quietly. You're not. Emily whispered. Daniel, please don't hate me. I paused at the door. I don't hate you. She looked hopeful for a second. I just don't recognize you anymore. I stepped outside. My father followed me onto the porch. Where will you go? Somewhere I'm not already replaced. You'll calm down, he said. I looked at him. You taught me to be strong, not blind. This is reality. No, I said. This is betrayal. He didn't argue. I walked down the steps and kept moving until I reached the highway. There was a cheap motel a mile away. The sign flickered. I paid for a room in cash. Inside, the walls were thin and the air smelled stale. I dropped my bag on the floor and sat on the edge of the bed. For 2 years, I survived bullets and bombs. Tonight, I felt shattered by words. But as I stared at the cracked ceiling, something changed inside me. The grief was still there. But beneath it, something colder was growing. Anger. I didn't sleep much in the motel. At 7 a.m., someone knocked on my door. Go away, I muttered. It's me, Jake said. I opened the door halfway. What? He looked at my face. You look like hell. Thanks. He stepped inside. You can't just sit here. Watch me. He crossed his arms. You deserve justice. I let out a dry laugh. Justice? Yes. Everyone in town knows Ryan runs that construction company like he's some golden son. Expose him. Expose him how? Tell people what he did. Ruin his reputation. And then what? I asked. Then he feels what you're feeling. I stared at him. That won't fix anything. It'll make it even. Nothing about this is even. Jake stepped closer. You almost died overseas. He stole your life. He didn't steal my life, I said quietly. He stole her. That's the same thing. No, I said. My life is still mine. He shook his head. You're being too calm. You want me to burn the town down? I want you to fight back. I rubbed my forehead. I'm tired of fighting. Then what are you going to do? I don't know. He sighed. Think about it. Ryan's business depends on trust. If people knew. I heard you. He paused. Just don't let them walk away like nothing happened. After he left, I punched the wall. Pain shot through my knuckles. Stupid, I muttered. By noon, my hand had started swelling. I drove to the VA hospital to get it checked. At the front desk, a familiar voice said, Daniel Mitchell? I looked up. Sarah Collins? I blinked. She smiled softly. I heard you were back. Yeah, for a day. She glanced at my hand. What happened? Wall 1. She raised an eyebrow. Come with me. Inside the exam room, she cleaned my knuckles gently. You always did have a temper, she said. I thought I grew out of it. She studied my face. This isn't about your hand. I stayed silent. I heard about Emily, she added carefully. Of course you did. Small town. I looked at the ceiling. Did you know too? No. I met her eyes. You're the first person who said that. She wrapped my hand in gauze. How are you really? I laughed without humor. Define really. Are you angry? Yes. Heartbroken? Yes. Thinking about revenge? I hesitated. That obvious? I asked. She leaned against the counter. You have that look. What look? Like you're about to go to war. I've been at war. Not like this. I exhaled slowly. Jake wants me to ruin Ryan's business. And do you? I want him to hurt. She nodded. That's honest. He deserves it. Maybe, she said. But what do you deserve? I frowned. What does that mean? If you destroy them, you'll destroy yourself too. I looked away. So I just walk away. I'm saying choose who you want to be. I was loyal, I said. I was faithful. And you still are. Doesn't feel like it. She stepped closer. Daniel, revenge feels powerful for a second. Then it empties you. You sound very sure. I've seen it, she said quietly. Veterans who come back angry at the world. They burn bridges and think it helps. And it doesn't. It just leaves them alone. I'm already alone. She held my gaze. Not completely. Something in her voice made my chest tighten. I don't want pity, I said. It's not pity. Then what is it? It's concern. Silence filled the room. I broke it first. Do you think she ever loved me? Yes. Then how could she do this? People can love and still make selfish choices. That's comforting. It's real. I flexed my bandaged hand. What would you do? I'd rebuild. Just like that. No, she said gently. Slowly. I nodded but didn't answer. That night, back at the motel, I opened the box where I kept Emily's letters. I read one aloud. I count the days until you're home. I can't wait to be your wife. I closed my eyes. Was that real? I whispered. The room gave no answer. My phone buzzed. Ryan. I stared at the screen before answering. What? I said flatly. We need to talk. We already did. Man to man. You lost that right. He sighed. You can't keep acting like this. Like what? Like I committed a crime. You did. I fell in love. With my fiancée. You were gone. I was serving. Life moved on, he said. For you, I replied. Not for me. He lowered his voice. You could ruin everything if you start talking. I sat up straight. Is that what you're afraid of? I'm warning you. Sounds like you're scared. My company is fragile right now. I almost laughed. Good to know. Daniel, tell me something, I interrupted. If I expose you, what happens? He stayed silent. Exactly, I said. Don't do something you'll regret. Funny, I said. That's what I was going to tell you. I hung up. I stared at the ceiling again. Ruin his reputation. Walk away. Fight. Rebuild. My mind felt like a battlefield. I don't know who I am without her, I whispered. But another voice inside me answered. You're still you. I clenched my jaw. Inside, I was at war again. Only this time, the enemy wasn't across the ocean. It was the choice in front of me. I didn't expose Ryan. I didn't tell anyone what he did. I didn't have to. 2 weeks passed, and the town started whispering anyway. Jake walked into the motel room one evening and tossed a newspaper onto the bed. "You see this?" he asked. I glanced at the headline. "Mitchell Construction delays major project. Investors are pulling out," Jake said. "Ryan made some bad calls." I shrugged. "Not my problem. He took out loans he can't cover." "That sounds stressful." Jake studied me. "You really don't care?" I looked at him. "I care about breathing." "That's it." He nodded slowly. "You're different. War changes people." "No," he said quietly. "Betrayal does." After he left, my phone buzzed. Emily. I stared at the screen until it stopped. It rang again. And again. I let it go to voicemail. Her voice came through soft and shaky. "Daniel, please call me." I deleted it. The next day, another call. "Daniel, we need to talk." Delete. By the fifth call, my chest didn't even tighten anymore. That night, I was packing my gear for a private security training program in Dallas. A recruiter had called me last week. "You're disciplined," he'd said. "We need men like you." I needed distance. I was zipping my duffel bag when someone knocked on the motel door. "Go away," I said. The knock came again. "Daniel," a voice whispered. I froze. "Emily." I opened the door halfway. "Why are you here?" She stood there with red eyes and tear-streaked cheeks. "Please," she said. "Can I come in?" "No. Just 5 minutes." I hesitated, then stepped aside. She walked in slowly, looking around at the small room. "You're living here?" she asked. "For now." She wrapped her arms around herself. "You shouldn't be here." "And where should I be?" I asked. She didn't answer. "What do you want, Emily?" Her voice cracked. "I made a mistake." I felt something harden inside me. "No," I said calmly. "You made a choice." Tears rolled down her face. "I thought I was doing the right thing." "For who?" "For my future." "And I wasn't part of it?" "I didn't think you'd come back." I shook my head. "You keep saying that like it excuses everything." "It was fear," she insisted. "It was selfishness." She flinched. "Ryan isn't the same," she whispered. I leaned against the wall. "Explain." "He's stressed all the time. The business is falling apart." "That's unfortunate. He barely talks to me." "You didn't marry him for conversation." "Stop," she said. "Please." "You wanted honesty," I replied. "Here it is." She wiped her eyes. "He thinks I still love you." I let out a slow breath. "Do you?" Silence filled the room. "Answer me." She looked at the floor. "I don't know." "That's your problem." "He gets angry," she continued. "He says you're still in my head." "Am I?" She didn't respond. I stepped closer. "You left me for him. Now you're here crying because he's not perfect." "I feel trapped," she said. "You chose the cage." "That's cruel." "So was what you did." She reached for my hand. I pulled it away. "Don't," I said. "I miss you," she whispered. "You miss who I was to you." "What does that mean?" "You miss feeling safe." "You don't miss me." She covered her face. "I don't know what to do." "That's not my responsibility anymore." Her breathing grew uneven. "He says I ruined his life." I almost laughed. "That's ironic. He thinks the stress is because of you. Because I came back alive. He says your presence makes everything unstable." I stared at her. "Tell him I plan to leave." She looked up quickly. "Leave?" "I'm starting training in Dallas next week." "For what?" "Security contracting." "Overseas?" "Maybe." Her eyes widened. "You'd go back?" "Yes." "Why?" "Because I need to build something that isn't connected to this town." She shook her head. "Running away won't fix it." "I'm not running," I said quietly. "I'm moving forward." She stepped closer again. "What about us?" "There is no us." She cried harder. "I was stupid." "Yes. I thought he was stability. And now I don't know anything." I looked at her stomach. "You're having his child." Her hand rested there automatically. "I know. That's your future." She whispered. "Do you hate me?" I paused. "I don't hate you," I said finally. "I just don't trust you." She nodded slowly, like she expected that. "I thought if I saw you," she said, "I'd feel clarity. And I feel worse. That's because reality isn't romantic." She gave a weak, broken laugh. "Does he know you're here?" I asked. "No." "Then you should go." She hesitated. "If things fall apart, would you ever?" "No," I said firmly. That answer seemed to settle something in both of us. She walked to the door, then stopped. "I did love you," she said softly. "Maybe," I replied. "But not enough." She left without another word. I locked the door behind her and sat on the edge of the bed. My phone buzzed again. "Ryan." I answered this time. What? I said. Did she come see you? Yes. He swore under his breath. What did she say? That she made a mistake. And what did you say? That she made a choice. Silence. You're enjoying this, he accused. No, I said honestly. I'm done with it. You think you're better than me. I think I survived. He exhaled sharply. My company is on the edge. That's your problem. You could help. How? Talk to investors. Tell them we're fine. I almost laughed. You want my reputation now? I need stability. You should have thought about that. He didn't respond. I'm leaving town, I added. For good. For now. He was quiet for a long moment. You always were the strong one. I didn't answer. After I hung up, I felt something shift inside me. I hadn't touched his business. I hadn't exposed him. And yet, cracks were spreading. Not because of me. Because of them. For the first time since I came home, I didn't feel powerless. I felt steady. And the power was slowly shifting back to me. I heard the news before I even checked my phone. Jake called first. Daniel, it's over. What? I asked, leaning against the motel wall. Ryan's company. Everything collapsed. Lawsuits, unpaid loans, investors are pulling out. I shrugged. Sounds like karma. Jake frowned. You're not happy? I don't celebrate failure, I said. I survived my own hell. I don't need his. A week later, my mother called. Her voice trembled. Daniel, Emily's in the hospital. Early labor. I froze. Early? Is she okay? Everything's fine, but I need you there. Please. I'm not going for her, I said firmly. Not for her, for me, she said. I can't handle this alone. I stayed silent for a moment. I'll come. The drive to the hospital was quiet. I didn't want to think about Ryan, Emily, or their mess. I just wanted to feel in control of my own life again. When I arrived, my mother rushed to me. Thank God. I nodded. Where is she? She's stable. The doctors say she's fine. The baby is healthy. I stayed back in the corner, avoiding Emily's gaze when she saw me. Her eyes pleaded, but I refused to meet them. She wants to see you, my mother whispered. I shook my head. Not me. Not her. You need closure, Daniel. This is it. I exhaled and stepped inside her room. Emily was pale, sweating, tears running down her face. Monitors beeped steadily beside her. Nurses moved efficiently around her. Daniel, she whispered. I ignored her. I couldn't. The baby cried for the first time. I watched them hand the tiny bundle to Emily. Her face lit up, exhaustion and love mixed in one expression. I felt nothing. No jealousy. No longing. No grief. Just emptiness. I turned my eyes away. This wasn't my life anymore. This child wasn't mine. And that realization felt like peace. Can I hold him? Emily asked softly. No, I said quietly. She nodded. I could see her disappointment, but I didn't care. Hours later, Ryan walked in. His suit was wrinkled. He looked older. Haggard. Daniel, he said cautiously. I wanted to talk. Make it quick, I said. I envy you, he admitted, voice low. I blinked. What? All these years. Dad always respected you more. Everyone listened to you. I was always second. You're still talking about respect? I asked. You took her. I know, he said bitterly. I thought I was helping. I thought I could be happy too. But seeing you here, surviving, I couldn't measure up. And that justified betrayal? I asked, my voice sharp. No, he whispered. It was jealousy. Pure jealousy. Not love. Not even for Emily. I wanted to be like you. I studied him. For the first time, I saw him truly break. His shoulders slumped. He looked small. Fragile. You made a choice, I said calmly. A terrible one. And now you're paying for it. Ryan nodded slowly. I know. I lost everything. Company's gone. Lawsuits are piling up. And Emily, she's gone too, in every way that matters. Good, I said quietly. He flinched. Daniel, I'm sorry. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know. You should have realized long ago that envy doesn't build happiness, I said. He looked down, ashamed. I know. I stepped back. You wanted me gone. You wanted my life. But the truth, you never had it. You only ever had your own weakness. He sank into the nearest chair. I thought I could make it right. I thought maybe. Maybe what? I asked. Maybe if I gave her everything, she'd forget you. She didn't, I said softly. And she won't. I don't know how to fix anything, he admitted. You can't, I said simply. You can't undo betrayal. You can only live with the consequences. He closed his eyes, trembling slightly. I hated you for surviving. I hated you for being strong. And I hated myself for not being enough. I nodded. Now you know what it feels like. He wiped his face, exhausted. Daniel, I am sorry. Truly. I didn't respond. Words weren't enough. The nurses checked Emily and the baby again. She smiled at me once, a faint acknowledgement. I nodded barely. That was all. I stepped out of the room, my mother following silently. Daniel, she said. I'm okay, Mom, I said. I needed to see it, yes. But this isn't mine anymore. She nodded. You're strong. I'm done looking back, I said. Outside the hospital, the night air was cool. I breathed it in slowly. Somewhere inside, I felt a final crack close. Ryan had lost everything. Emily had chosen her own path. And I still had myself. For the first time since I returned, I wasn't running from war. I wasn't running from betrayal. I wasn't running from heartbreak. I was standing, and that was enough. The motel room was quiet as I packed my bags. Jake leaned against the doorframe. Leaving already? I have a contract in Nevada, I said, zipping my duffel bag. Another overseas job? Not this one. Security detail. High profile. I need a fresh start. Jake nodded slowly. You look lighter. Lighter? I asked. Yeah, like you've been carrying a heavy load, and now it's off your shoulders. I smirked, but it was faint. Maybe. Emily. I paused. Divorce papers arrived last week. She's filing. Jake whistled softly. I guess karma does its thing. I didn't have to touch anything, I said. They destroyed themselves. You could have made them pay. And wasted my time? I asked. No thanks. He shrugged. Fair enough. The phone buzzed. I saw Sarah Collins' name. Hey, I said when I answered. Daniel, her voice sounded unsure. I need to tell you something. Go on. I like you. I've liked you for a long time. I froze, leaning against the doorframe. You've liked me? Yes. Her voice softened. But I won't wait forever. I ran a hand through my hair. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything, she said. I just needed you to know. I appreciate it. Her laugh was quiet. I hope you find happiness, Daniel. You already helped me see it. We stayed silent for a moment. I should go, she said finally. Okay, I replied. Be safe. She hung up, and I stared at the phone. I had spent months drowning in anger, betrayal, and heartbreak. Now it felt like all that weight had lifted, replaced by clarity. Emily had chosen her path. Ryan had lost himself in jealousy. And I had survived. I drove to the airport. The city felt smaller than it used to. The streets seemed quieter, emptier, like they were holding their breath, watching me leave. At the terminal, my mother was waiting. Her eyes were red, her hands trembling slightly. Daniel, she whispered as I approached. I knelt slightly and hugged her. She held me tightly. I'm sorry, she said against my shoulder. I held her just as tight. I forgive you, but I won't forget. She pulled back and looked at me. You've grown so strong. I had to, I said. Life doesn't give second chances to the weak. We stood silently for a moment, listening to the announcements overhead. Promise me you'll take care of yourself, she said finally. I promise, I replied. I walked toward the gate, my bags in hand, heart steady. I paused and looked back once. My family, fractured, broken, scarred, stood there watching me. I didn't feel bitterness. I felt clarity. I had walked through fire and came out unburned. Emily had been a dream I chased across continents. A life I imagined while I survived gunfire and sandstorms. But dreams aren't reality, and illusions are meant to fade. I reached the gate, the plane waiting beyond the glass. Sarah's words echoed in my mind. I won't wait forever. I realized I wasn't running from her. I wasn't running from anyone. I was moving forward. The engines roared to life as the plane taxied down the runway. I looked out the window at the shrinking city behind me. I didn't lose my fiancée. I lost an illusion. And I found myself. Months of anger, months of betrayal. They had shaped me, sharpened me, but they didn't define me. I was stronger than I'd ever been. My future wasn't tied to a broken family, a failed marriage, or someone else's jealousy. It was mine. The plane lifted off the ground, cutting through the clouds. I leaned back in my seat, letting the hum of the engines fill the silence. For the first time in years, I felt free. Not just free from them, but free for me. The horizon stretched ahead, endless possibilities shining through the morning light. I closed my eyes, exhaling slowly, feeling the weight of the past fall away completely. I wasn't a victim. I wasn't broken. I was Daniel Mitchell, and I was ready to live. The world below shrank, but my resolve grew. I didn't need revenge. Life had already balanced itself. I smiled faintly. It had been a long journey, but finally, I was walking away stronger.